If you want to become a DecaMillionaire, don't start with strategy. Don't start with your offer. Don't even start with your team. Friends, DecaMillionaires start with their mindset, because how you think is either your greatest asset or it's your biggest liability. And most business owners are trying to scale with a belief system that's already broken. So today I want to cover 7 mindset shifts that true DecaMillionaires had to make before they could grow, before they could build their wealth, before they could actually become financially free. You've heard this before. You've heard me say it before. What got you here won't set you free. You see, as a business owner, more than likely you've already built a business. You've clawed, that's the word I want to use. You have clawed your way to 6 figures, maybe 7 figures. But now you see the ceiling, you're feeling kind of stuck. It's like, man, I know there's more. I just don't know how to get there. Here's the truth that most people won't tell you. The problem that you're experiencing isn't tactics. It's the operating system running your decisions. Friends, it's the way in which we make decisions that lead us stuck. So today I'm going to walk through 7 belief shifts. These are non-negotiable. You have to do these. You have to embrace these if you're going to break through that plateau and ultimately become a DecaMillionaire. And this isn't fluff. This is straight from the trenches. I've interviewed now almost a dozen DecaMillionaires, and you're hearing these same exact shifts in every conversation we have. So let's dive into it. The mindset shift number 1. What if the reason that you feel broke isn't your revenue, but how you think about what you already have? Did you hear me on this one? What if the reason we feel broke, and I didn't say think we're broke, how we feel, because our feelings can often misguide us. What if the reason we feel broke isn't about the amount of revenue we're making, but how we think about what we already have? You see, the first mindset shift is moving from scarcity to, I bet you thought I was going to say abundance. Most people would. They would say from scarcity to abundance. No, from scarcity to stewardship. Scarcity says there's never enough. I've got to get more. I've got to climb another award. I got to do more. I got to do more. That's scarcity. Stewardship says I've been given what I need, but I've been mismanaging it. You see, there's a subtle difference. Most business owners operate like they're always 5 steps behind. They say things like, one day when I hit $1 million in revenue, I'll feel secure. One day when I hit $10 million in revenue, I'll feel secure. One day when I look at my bank account, I see X number of dollars, I'll feel secure. I'll feel free at that point. And friends, it's false. Here's the truth. Money isn't scarce. It's everywhere. It's easier now to make money than ever before. The issue is not the scarcity of money. The issue is that our strategy is sloppy. You see, when we shift from this mindset of scarcity to stewardship, we begin thinking about how we're stewarding or managing our time, our team, our energy, our attention, our dollars, and so much more. What I've come to realize as I talk to DecaMillionaires consistently now is it's not about having more. It's about maximizing what I've already have. That's a mindset shift. I know I have 24 hours in the day. How can I maximize it? I know that I want to work 160 days a year. How do I maximize those days? I know that my children only have this much time at home. How do I maximize those days? I realize I only have this much money coming into my company right now. How do I maximize those dollars to give me the greatest output? There's a mindset shift that happens with DecaMillionaires. But the vast majority of business owners, they would say, I need more time. I need more money. I need more influence. No, let's just maximize what we currently have. You see, here's the rewiring statement that we have to say. Money flows to those who manage it with clarity and courage. It's a subtle shift, friends. Before we talked about scarcity mindset, and then we have to rewire ourselves by realizing that money flows to those who manage it with clarity and courage. That's our first mindset shift. Number 2, could the biggest reason you're stuck be hiding in the mirror? Okay, we're going to have some real talk here, all right? As a business owner, you have to move from victim to owner. You have to move your mindset. because nothing is going to change dynamically in your business until you, as the business owner, take full responsibility. You cannot delegate blame and expect to scale. Every single week, I'm talking to business owners on our free strategy call, and our strategists are talking, and we're hearing the same things over and over again. We can't get here because of, and it's somebody else. It's somebody else. Our team didn't do their job right. The vendor didn't deliver on time. The market doesn't look good. The economy, whatever it is, friends, that is such a victim mindset. What I've realized listening to DecaMillionaires is that they do not delegate blame. They can't, because you can't expect blame to scale. What happens differently with DecaMillionaires is when something breaks, the DecaMillionaires look inward. They don't look outward. So many times now, even when we bring new team members in, I'll make a statement. They'll say, well, so-and-so, or I'm like, time out. It's my fault. I'm the owner. It's my fault. If it's broken, I missed it. I failed. I let it happen. I was messy and I allowed it. It's my fault. One of the hardest things that I've noticed as business owners to grasp is to take all the blame and give away all the credit. That's a hard statement to deal with. But that's this mindset that happens with DecaMillionaires, is they shift their mindset from a victim mentality to that of being a true business owner. Like, I'm going to own all the responsibilities behind it. And friends, whenever you say that it's my fault, it's not guilt. It's actually power. It's actually liberating to say, friends, it's my fault, not yours. Let's work on this. My fault. Because as a business owner, many times we don't need a rescue. Friends, we simply need a mirror. So here's your rewiring statement. I can't lead what I won't own. Think about this. Can you say that? I cannot lead something that I cannot own. I actually made this statement whenever I had my financial advisory practice to clients. They would come in and we had a process set up, and they would say, hey, Justin, I want to test your team on this amount of money, and I want to do this. And I would literally say this statement. I would say, we want to gain 100% of the credit or 100% of the blame. There is no thing in between for us. So we can't work with you if you're not going to allow us to benefit on 100% of the credit or 100% of the blame, because I can't lead it. If we can't own it, we can't help you. It was amazing to see how many people would say, wow, that's pretty bold. Okay, let's go forward. At the same time, those who said, no, we won't do that. Fine, you're not the right client for us. So friends, there's a mindset shift that I noticed with DecaMillionaires. They shift their mind from being a victim to now being the owner. Have you done this? There's a third shift, and that is this. What if hustle isn't a badge, but rather a bottleneck? We live in this hustle culture. Wake up and grind. I see it on my Instagram page weekly. Somebody says we got to hustle, go work harder. I got to tell you, friends, I love to work hard, but I like to play just as hard. In fact, my team was showing me my calendar, like, hey, Justin, here's the times you took off. And I'm like, cool, next year, let's double it. They're like, how are you going to work? I'm like, I don't know. Let's double it next year because I want to play hard. See, friends, as a business owner, if you're going to reach DecaMillionaire status, you've got to move from hustle to focus, because success isn't in the grind. Success is in the aim. I love to shoot. I love to shoot. It's one of my things. I love to shoot my rifles, long distances. When I say long distances, 7, 8, 9, 1,200 yards, a long ways. We're talking about 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 football fields, for those of you who don't know yardage. Big, long distances. What I've learned whenever I'm trying to aim at a small target a long ways away is that everything matters on my aim. You said, Justin, that makes a lot of sense. Yes, it does. However, it's easier said than done. I'm talking about that nothing can interact with my aim, including my breath. There's actually techniques that teach you how to slow your breathing down so when you squeeze the trigger, the bullet doesn't go off mark. So success for us as business owners is very similar. It's everything is built upon the aim. Friends, you're not tired because you're working hard. Yes, hard work does physically exhaust us, but that's not what makes us tired, worn down, feel like we're burdened and we're bound and we're in bondage. That bondage and that burden and that wearing us down comes because we lack clarity. You see, hard work, hustle for the sake of doing something creates movement. It does. In the early days in business, we had to hustle. But now, focus, that slow breathing, that intensity on one small dot on a target, focus creates momentum. As I've talked to now dozens of DecaMillionaires, what I've noticed is they don't try to do more. They actually work less. They work a plan with precision. Everything is narrowed down. They dominate by priority. They don't drown in activity. Yet so many business owners, whenever they get on the phone with us, they're saying, I am just tired. I'm running all over the place. Let me give you this visual. And this is your rewiring statement. Laser beams beat flashlights. Think about this. Whenever I go in the woods at night, if I take a flashlight, I can see a few yards in front of me. If I take a laser in the woods, that laser goes forever, a long ways. In fact, a laser beam can cut steel. It's that powerful, because if you bring it down to focusing just a small, intense point on steel, a laser beam will cut it. The same is true in your life and in your business. If you want to become a DecaMillionaire, intense focus on the things that matter. That is a mindset shift. All right, friends, 3 mindsets out of the way. Let's continue. Here's a question for you. Are you the bottleneck in your business? Well, Justin, no, I'm not. Let me ask you this question. Do you believe that no one can do it like you? Now, if I'm being completely authentic here, I often say this in my mind, sometimes out loud, I can do this better than anybody else. Now, it is built in pride, hubris pride, but there's also a level of mastery. I, for example, have sat behind this microphone now for over 250 hours just recording into the microphone, not including all the prep time, all the analysis, all the coaching, everything that I've had happen. 250 hours of my time behind this microphone. That's a lot of reps. Do I believe that anybody can do it like me? Yeah, there are a few people who have done that many reps, but you take the average business owner and put them behind a microphone week after week after week, they don't have the skill set because they don't have the reps. So we get this pride, if you will, this sense of entitlement that we can do something like no one else in our company. There's a reality, though, that DecaMillionaires have to consider, and that is this. We have to shift from being self-reliant to strategic dependence. Strategic dependence. You see, scaling starts when you, the business owner, stop becoming the hero and you start building a machine. That's when you scale a business. That's when DecaMillionaire is on the forefront. Friends, I can remember this mindset shift hitting home for me when my coach was teaching me. First 20 years of my business career was built upon my skill and my abilities. I believe God's gifted me uniquely. And so just like I believe God's gifted you uniquely. And so I built businesses based on my skill, but my control that I had, the control to allow my skills to shine, killed my growth. What I've noticed is now talking with DecaMillionaires is they don't obsess over being the best. They actually obsess over being the least best or the least smartest, the one with the least control. They focus on building teams and systems that scale without them. It's a very interesting dichotomy because whenever I was growing my first few businesses, it was all about me. How can I do this? How can I look good? How can I reach the awards? Until it came time to, how do I become a DecaMillionaire? Oh my goodness. It can't be about me. It's got to be about the team. It's got to be about systems. So then all my focus shifted to making a company run without me. Friends, that is hard. So I had this rewiring statement that I can remember saying to myself, and that is this: freedom comes from trust, not control. Justin, you want freedom. It comes from trust, not control. Let go. Let go. Let go. Surrender. Let go. It's not yours. I remember saying this over and over and over again, friends. See, out of all the mindset shifts that DecaMillionaires had to go through, this one, Justin Goodbread, this was hard for me because I was the bottleneck in my business. And so many of us capable, just gritty business owners, we're the bottleneck. And so if you still believe that no one can do it like you, friends, you've got to rewire. Freedom comes from trust, not from control. Whew, glad that one's over because number 4 was tough for me. Number 5, not something I've ever really dealt with, but I see it more and more, and that is this. What if the one thing missing from your plan is belief that it's actually possible? Now, I know that sounds a little contrary because I have spent so much time talking about beliefs and visions and missions and so many things, these aspirations, this God-given ability, this vision, this dream that you have in front of you. But oftentimes when I'm talking with business owners and I'll say, so what are you shooting for? What are we trying to accomplish? Where do you want to be? They typically give me time frames. Well, Justin, I'm currently worth $3 million in my business. I need to grow it to $7 million. And I like to do it within 5 years. Great. Why aren't we going there? Well, I just don't know. I don't know. And the problem is there's a doubt in their own belief. As I examine DecaMillionaires, there's this amazing thing that they do. They shift from doubt to belief because faith or belief creates boldness, and boldness builds momentum. It's very interesting to me. You see, doubt, whenever there's the least bit of hesitation, it paralyzes us in action. Whereas if I have a little bit of belief, I'm going to do it. It's pretty crazy. Belief, it unlocks speed and it unlocks resolve and it unlocks our ability to take on risk. But doubt paralyzes. So many times when I'm talking to business owners, I'm asking their vision and I'll say, what's keeping you from there? And ultimately, after a little bit of time, we come down to the point of, it's me. What's going on? I don't know. Well, then we're not going to reach it. Do you believe you can do it? I don't know if I can. Well, then let's adjust the goal. Well, we can't adjust the goal. I need to hit that in order for me to maintain my lifestyle. Okay. So now do you believe you can hit it? No, I don't. Then we're not going to hit it. Let's adjust the goal. And it's this crazy round and round that happens until there's a trigger that shifts. It shifts in the mind. You'll see it through the conversation. And what happens is that faith or belief, it begins to fuel action. And then action reveals opportunity. See, DecaMillionaires, they believe, then they act. They don't wait for proof. They become the proof. They make a decision, then they make the decision right. They don't work and worry about the right decision. So many people get so decision fatigued to where you're trying to make a decision for your outcome. And it's like, do I take option 1, option 2, option 3? I don't care. Because here's what I know. No matter which option you take, if you believe in the outcome, you will work the work to make that option 1, 2, or 3, whatever your options are, you'll work that to actually fulfill the destiny that you desire. It comes to be, friends. If you believe you can accomplish your goal, friends, you can accomplish it. I believe that with all my heart. How do I say that? Because an old country boy born and raised on a dirt road had this amazing wildest dreams, and through coaching and through belief systems and through wiring, God allowed us to accomplish it in 48 months. That is ridiculous. And if I can do it, I'm nothing special. I'm not. I'm a country boy who likes to run on dirt roads, man. I like the simple life. And if I can accomplish my wildest dreams, you can too. But you got to believe it. You got to believe it. So there's a 6th mindset shift that has to take place if you're going to become a DecaMillionaire. Here's a question for you. Could your addiction to activity be hiding your real identity? Ooh. See, friends, to become a DecaMillionaire, you have to shift your identity in doing to identity in becoming. Now, I didn't fall off my rocker. You're like, Justin, you're not making any sense. If you go way back to the book of Genesis, one of the very first principles that God teaches humans, and we were created in the image of God, I believe, is this principle of be, do, have. We got to first be the person and then do the activity, and then we'll have whatever the results thereof. So we got to shift our identity into being. Do we want to be a DecaMillionaire? Then you've got to identify as becoming a DecaMillionaire, not simply a financial advisor or a pool builder or a car repair person or a medical doctor, whoever's listening to the show. It doesn't matter. You've got to identify yourself as becoming what you truly want to become. Because the reality is you're not here as the business owner to be the busiest. That's not a title that you want. As a business owner, you're here to become a builder, to build a business that affords you the lifestyle that you desire to have. You see, so many business owners live in reactive mode. They only feel valuable if they're reacting to something, or they only feel like they're really worth their salt if they're being busy. But friends, your real value as a business owner isn't in what you do. That's not where your value lies. It's in clarity and courage and character as you develop as a leader. That's where the true journey is measured. When you gain clarity on what you're trying to accomplish, your team gets clarity. When you gain courage that no matter what the resistance is in front of you, that you're going to go through that resistance, your team gains courage. When you lean into your values, the character of the person that you truly desire to be, then so does your team. What I see over and over is DecaMillionaires, they aren't operators. They're architects, not in the sense of creating architectural structures, but they're architects in the sense of they're designing a logical outcome. They don't chase them, they design them. I'm not building a business. I'm becoming someone worth following. Think about that mindset rewiring that takes place there. Right now, you're building a business and you're doing. Now you're shifting to say, you know what? I'm becoming somebody worth following. That is a shift that DecaMillionaires made at some point along the journey. All right, we've reached number 7. Number 7 is one that I think is applicable to all of us. Here's your question. Are you building something that matters or something that dies when you're done? I talk to a lot of business owners, friends. I love my conversation with my brothers and sisters on the front lines. Love it. As a business owner now over 35 years, I'm sitting back and I'm watching things. And here's what I'm seeing is that when we pour our lives into our entity, our business, and we are able to watch it scale, we reach a point to where, you know what? It's no longer about making the money. It's more about how do I now take this asset and either liquidate it or keep it, but ultimately create generational significance? How do I build a legacy? How do I do something my kids can get involved in or my grandkids can get involved in? Because wealth, it's just a trophy, man. It's just like something we're going to put on the shelf and say, yeah, I've accomplished. I got a net worth $10 million. That's just a trophy. That's not the game. The game is generational significance. And whenever I see business owners who shift their mind from how do I create wealth for me to now how do I create significant for my generations to come, something happens in their mind, friends. It energizes them. I see people do things that they never dreamt was possible. See, DecaMillionaires, they're thinking decades ahead. They're not here chasing the trophies today. They're building toolkits for their children and their teams and their communities and their grandkids and whomever else. I get the feeling of the short-term wins. I get it. I love short-term wins. I was just celebrating a short-term win with one of our coaching clients. We were on our mastermind call today, and we had 6 of our coaching clients on there, premium clients. And one of them said, hey, I got super tight on my particular avatar. I needed my tire repaired. Somebody asked what I did for a living. I told them my positioning statement. They instantly referred me to so-and-so. This individual is not only my idle avatar, they've already looked at all my data points, and they've engaged me for a mid-5-figure engagement. In other words, he paid for his coaching for 3 years off this one conversation, everything we've been teaching. Dude, those short-term wins are worth fist bumps. They're worth celebrating. They are fun. But just like that trophy on the shelf, it just has this moment, got the pictures, and it sits there. It takes you back in time, but it just sits there. Long-term impact, generational significance, man, you feel that. It doesn't just feel good, it feels right. So here's your rewiring statement. Legacy is the fruit of intentional impact. It doesn't happen any other way. So we've just gone over 7 shifts that you as a business owner are going to have to make if you're going to reach DecaMillionaire status. It's not fluff, friends. It's not Sunday school slogans. These are the internal commandments that drive those successful business owners to the transformation that I've seen personally or that I've watched others through coaching. Friends, don't just listen to me. May I challenge you? Choose one of these mindsets and go to war with it this week. Go to war with it. Your mind is worth protecting because until your thinking shifts to that of a DecaMillionaire, until you become like a DecaMillionaire in your mind, you won't ever get the results externally. So friends, here's what's crazy about this. Until your thinking shifts, your results, they're not going to change. And once you open up your mind and your mindset level shifts, your systems, your strategy, your leadership, your success, it will catch up. Your business can scale, friends. It can scale. You can reach your wildest dreams. It is within your grasp. And it's on the other side of the resistance probably that you're facing right now. But you're not going to accomplish it until your mindset shifts. You've got to become the DecaMillionaire in your mind and think like them. And if you do, everything else follows. Hope that helps you. Hope it encourages you. We'll talk to you next week.